Hello and welcome back to Blues Focus. I'm Harry once again, and we're back with Opposition View. Today we're joined by Hal, the co-host of the Sheffield United Way. How are you doing today, Hal?
Good. Nice to speak to you. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, mate. So, for the Birmingham fans who maybe haven't seen much of Sheffield United this season, aside from the trip up Bramall Lane at the opening day, which seems like a lifetime ago now, summarise how your first season back in the division's been.
Since we got rid of Slavici Jokanovic, it's been good. And before that, it was not good. That's your very brief summary. And we've reverted back to playing the 3-5-2, which was so successful to get us out of the Championship and back into the Premier League.
What went wrong under your old manager, do you reckon, if you had to pin it down?
Oh, it's not too hard to pin down. He tried to change too much too quickly. He wanted to play with wingers without actually signing any wingers. That might not have been his fault that he didn't sign any wingers. I'm sure he asked for wingers, but transfer deadline day came and went, and deals were apparently struck but fell down for ridiculous reasons, like one player's printer didn't work, or he didn't have a printer and it missed the deadline. You know, silly things like that. One guy didn't get a work permit. Just nonsense that probably should have been foreseen and perhaps shouldn't have been left to the last minute. So then trying to play with wingers when you don't have wingers and playing players out of position, it's never going to work.
Yeah, of course. And it is good to see that you seem to, after a very shaky start, you are seeming to finally find your feet again. And who do you think that there's someone that Blues fans should be looking out for on Friday, someone that they should be a bit wary of?
Iliman Ndiaye is a generational talent. The Frenchman is a wizard. He's incredible. You can't get the ball off him. He's just got magic feet. He's probably one who deserves to play at the highest level, and one day he will. I hope that's with Sheffield United. But Iliman Ndiaye, because Morgan Gibbs-White isn't fit.
Is he totally not fit now? I saw he was back in training today.
Yeah, I mean, he won't play. If he's back in training today, it just won't be ready for Friday night. No chance.
I can hope he won't play.
Yeah, he won't play, but I mean, I'd love him to play. He's been absolutely fantastic, a really great addition on loan from Wolves. But Iliman Ndiaye will play in his position, and what we really like seeing is both of them on the pitch at the same time. We've also got Ryan Brewster out, who's just started to come into form, and I feel desperately sorry for the lad.
How big of a miss is it not having Brewster? Because obviously I know Billy Sharp is scoring. He's now the top scorer in the Championship history, if I'm correct.
You are correct. Yeah, I mean, he spent 8 seasons not playing in the Championship, so it's really quite impressive. 122 goals. Billy Sharp scores goals. That's just a fact. And Brewster's a miss because he's really playing well. He doesn't score goals, so he does everything else brilliantly. And when he does score goals, they tend to be spectacular. Look at his one against Blackburn Rovers, for example. But we'll be okay. We'll manage because we've got David McGoldrick, we've got Billy Sharp, we've got Ollie McBurney, we've got Iliman Ndiaye, we've got Daniel Jefferson. We've got options.
Yeah, of course. And I think it was really apparent you had options when it came to the deals that you did in the window. I think was it 2 centre forwards you both let go out on loan? Oliver
We
Burke
brought in Charlie Good. We let Ollie Burke go. We let, who was it that went to Millwall? Luke Freeman. Yeah, so players that weren't really involved in the first team. That's why I can't even remember them.
Well, I think looking back on the transfer window, as it is obviously officially closed now, it was an interesting window. Sheffield United bringing in Charlie Good from Brentford on loan, and I believe Adam Davies from Stoke as well. And I think a lot more importantly than that, you seem to be able to keep your key players around, which always seem to be a bit of a task. People like John Egan and George Baldock seem to be in the papers as maybe potentially moving on. What's the kind of feeling from you and the feeling from the supporters about that transfer window?
It's a 6 out of 10. We've not signed anyone permanently forever, it feels like. Even Adam Davies, we've just taken over his contract till the end of the season. So, I mean, that's a permanent signing in that it's not a loan, but it's not, if you know what I mean, it's not like
it's not a long term.
Yeah. I mean, it might become long term, and I'm hopeful it will, because that means he's played well. He's a goalkeeper. He'll have a real tough job dislodging League One Wes Foderingham, but he might. And if he does, that'll mean it's gone well, and I'm sure he'd sign a long-term deal. But not since Ryan Brewster have we actually thrown money at a player, and that's something that's slightly concerning because it suggests we don't have any cash, and we spent 2 seasons in the Premier League.
Well, of course, yeah. When you look at the teams that have come down recently, Fulham are the big standouts. They seem to have money coming out of everywhere possible. Same with West Brom and same with, now you're going back 2 seasons now, but Bournemouth as well. Bournemouth,
Yeah.
these big clubs seem to have money coming out everywhere. Doesn't seem to be the same thing happening for you.
Well, they've got owners, the teams you just mentioned, owners with bottomless pockets, it seems. You know, I know a lot of people saying the Bournemouth story was like a fairy tale miracle. When you actually look into it, they've been backed. Sheffield United don't have a wealthy owner. I feel like he does his best with the minimal resources that he has. And you know what? I don't like having a go at someone for not having a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't invest it in a football club. But if I had invested it in a football club, I'd be pretty annoyed if what I did have still wasn't enough, because, you can only do what you can do.
No, of course, I understand that. And going back to on the pitch, obviously with the recent loss to Derby aside, you seem to be on a decent run of form at the moment, especially compared to how you were at the start of the season. Do you think you've got what it takes now for a promotion push? And do you think that's something that will happen, or?
Tough one. I mean, Derby we're not even counting because Paul Heckingbottom wasn't involved in that one. He was unwell. So that doesn't even count. And we were awful that day. The other games, we've been good. I mean, Preston, we had a 2-0 lead and we let it slip. I mean, Birmingham know all about that, or the other way around. We are definitely in the shake-up. I mean, if we win our games in hand, we're level with Chris Wilder's Middlesbrough. Funny old thing.
Yeah, I had something mentioned about that on my notes here. You do have a couple games in hand on every team around in the league. I believe you played the least out of every team in the league this season. How important is it that you come away from St Andrews with something big on Friday in terms of pushing up the table, making that push?
Well, I think I'm a lot older than you, and I was there the last time we beat Birmingham at St Andrews, which was 1999. It's just after Christmas. Yeah, and I went to that game. It was Paul Devlin scored, obviously, against his old club, and Martin Smith. And we do not play well or win at St Andrews. That's just a fact. We're going back. 1999 is a long time. It feels for me like 1999 is 2 years ago, but it just makes me sad when I think how long ago that actually is, and I just feel really old. We have a terrible record there, and we need to change that. We need to turn it around. We are playing for something serious here. I've mentioned that we don't have a lot of money. I feel like we have to go back up this season. Otherwise, it could be a really ugly few years. I feel like if we don't go up this season, Sheffield United could be a team that's in the Championship for a long, long time.
Yeah, it's a story we see all the time. A team going back down, not this, if they don't go back up straight away, so they're stuck in that rut of mid-table mediocrity for years upon years upon years. And like you said, I would agree with you in that you never come away from St Andrews or something, but it'd be famous last words on my behalf if I had said that. I suppose
I can say it.
You can say it. I wouldn't risk it.
No.
Especially as the last 2 games I made similar statements and we seem to not be able to win anymore.
Yeah, famous last words. I won't put those words in your mouth.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. I suppose from what you've seen as an outsider, because in terms of Blues fans, we obviously see a lot through rose-tinted glasses. What do you see about Birmingham City season so far? About what you've seen looking into it?
Should be doing better. I think Birmingham have a good squad. When I look through player for player, I'm really surprised. Was it 17th in the league?
Yeah.
Lee Bowyer, I think, is a decent manager. I am surprised. I mean, for Birmingham, it feels like just inconsistency and a bit of bad luck. I was looking at the XG. They look like one of the unluckiest teams in the league, and I'm sure you feel that as well.
Yeah. It's a mix between luck and not having a striker that can finish chances. Scott Owen scores about 15, misses about 40. Now, I suppose, finally, what are your score predictions for the game on Friday night?
Well, you mentioned Scott Hogan, a former Sheffield United player, Lyle Taylor, a former Sheffield United player. Neither of those two did the business for the Blades. I liked what I saw of both in the brief time that they were at Sheffield United. I think Scott Hogan of the two is the best striker. I really think he's dangerous, and he's in pretty decent form. I feel like Birmingham are going to score. I feel like Sheffield United, on paper, even with our injuries, should win, but it will be a very tight game. If we are going to win, it's only going to be by 1 goal. So I will stick my neck out and basically you want to put on any money you have, go on the opposite of this. I think it will be 2-1 Sheffield United. I am notoriously awful at predictions, so you should now feel fairly confident.
Trust me, I'm not fairly confident. But I mean, I did get the last score right in the last opposition view against Derby County. And you know what? I'm going to stick with the same one. I'm going to say 2 Little Ducks, 2-2.
Wow.
I think watching us recently, I have no worries that we will score.
So that would be 3 2-2s in a row for you.
It's the most Birmingham City thing in the world.
Do you expect us to score an offside goal with a high boot in the last minute?
Oh, topical. I expect the EFL to have some stoppages in us. They will refuse to let us have nice things, of course.
Well, I mean, I should play Billy Balance. There was the handball to push it over the bar.
I'm not going to complain about that one, am I?
In the Premier League, that's given us a penalty.
Yeah, but I'm not one to complain about that one.
No, and I'm not one to complain about VAR, having experienced it.
Of course, yeah. The one thing that stops me wanting to go up at the moment.
Yeah, that is the only thing holding me back as well. Good shout.
All right, that is, I believe, all we've got time for today. Thank you for watching. Some great takes from you there, Hal. Be sure to check out Hal and the Sheff United Way all on all their social medias. I'm sure they'll be all in the description below. And be sure to check out the Blues Focus podcasts. And that's all for today. I'll see you all in a bit.